What if we accidentally become Mormon? Hello and welcome back to the long-winded podcast with Zipp and Cam. I'm Zipp and my wonderful co-host is Cameron, and today he's talking about his experience growing up in the Catholic Church in a small town. So stay tuned if you'd like to hear about that. If you weren't here for our last video, last week we spoke about me growing up in the Mormon Church. This is Zipp, and I just spent the last 3 hours editing this podcast, and I was at minute 47 of it when my editing software decided to crash and delete the whole project. So, I apologize if this is not the best episode of our podcast, editing-wise. It's just that it's completely gone, and I have to redo it, so.
Oh, no.
You're really easily influenced.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
Let me tell you.
Why don't you talk about that? That's something really interesting about you.
Okay, yeah. So, I was raised Catholic.
Catholic-ish.
Catholic-ish.
Yeah.
Christian Catholic-ish, right? And I did not like going, ever, to church.
Yeah. Was it because it was boring for you, or what?
It didn't interest me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I'm going to forget. We used to deliver groceries. Like, that was, like, our thing. We delivered groceries. You know what I'm gonna say?
Yes.
And, we did it through point pickup. And at 9:45 in the morning and 5:45 at night, that's when you would get, like, the general merchandise drops. So you could do, like, a 10 drop, which would be, like, 10 different deliveries to 10 different places, and get paid, like, $100 or something, because of with tips and whatever. And then it ended up being a lot less. It was, like, cut to, like, 30, sometimes 23 bucks. So...
It used to be very profitable, and then got to the point where it's not even worth the gas.
Yeah.
Because you were having to drive 50 miles in between drops.
There was a church. We had a delivery to a church, and it was men's thongs.
Yeah.
And it was for the priest, because you knew him.
I knew him, and it was his name on the package. And, not to mention, I was working at the store
and you
at
packed
the time,
it.
and I saw the package, and I was like, I wonder what's in there.
And
so I checked. Because you have to... See, here's the thing. You have to quality check.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, let me make sure everything's in this order. Because I was
Not
like,
because you're being nosy.
No, well, it was like, I know,
let me make sure it's right.
I know so-and-so. Let me make sure it's right, because I want him to make sure he's getting his right things. And I was like...
It wasn't even a substitution.
Yeah, it was like well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's hot under all those robes, so it makes sense, you know? Like, I was like, and his ethnicity, it makes sense. You know, they're a little more open over there, so...
What are you talking about? What
He's Irish.
Oh.
He's from Ireland.
I didn't know which priest you were talking about, because I knew of the priests, but I don't know what all of their names are.
No, he's from Ireland.
Oh, okay.
And was raised in Ireland, and then was also in Europe while doing his studies and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then also came to America. So it's like, okay, you're a lot more open-minded than the rest of us.
The immigrants in my family are a lot more open-minded about clothing than other members of my family.
Yeah.
So.
But also at the time, I was a lot more closed-minded because of the way I was raised.
When we delivered it?
What? Oh, well, no. It was just like well, that doesn't seem right because of the religion aspect.
I mean, it's not like
because
he was going to the strip.
And... It's like, I didn't have like a personal vendetta / bias, but there was still like that just doesn't seem right.
That's disturbing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not disturbing to me, it's never been. I thought it was a little funny, you know?
Yeah, well, yeah. I thought it was hilarious, but it was like, huh.
The people you know.
Right? It's like, I didn't ever think I was going to know this information, but good to know, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry to to do that to you, but I knew I was gonna forget, and it's a funny story.
My bad.
No, you're fine. You were talking about the way you grew up with your religion and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So, growing up Christian-ish, I never liked going to church. I just never.
I do have another question about that.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like the forced aspect? Like you wanted it to be your own choice? Was that like why you
No,
didn't want to go?
because from my earliest memory, I just remember going to church
Mm-hmm.
and going along,
Mm-hmm.
and there was never like a hey, sit down and pay attention. They kind of just let me run around in the pew in between my mom and my dad,
Uh-huh.
and then like my grandma would sit on the other side of my
Well, it was
mom.
a really small town too.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we would always sit like in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So then me and my sister would be in between.
Yeah.
And then we were probably like, I don't know, definitely pre-K
Yeah.
because that's when we were starting to do.
Well, you were pre-K.
Right, I was pre-K. That's when we were kind of like, let's start paying attention. Oh, I think it's starting to get moist
What's
on the wall.
No, this is a stain.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's a stain from dark glue.
Oh.
Yeah.
My bad.
I put too much glue there.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
I got sidetracked. I just want to make sure it's not
Yeah,
getting
no.
wet.
This side is not gonna get wet.
Okay, cool.
I covered it in glue.
My bad.
You're fine.
I interrupted myself and I'm apologizing.
No, don't. You're fine.
See, that's how I was raised. Terrible. Anyways, so yeah, I just never picked up anything because by the time I was already, young enough to go into pre-K, there was Sunday school. That was like the last 15-ish minutes.
Really?
Right.
Only 15 minutes?
You left the last 15. So church is an hour.
Only an hour?
Yeah. So so here, look, our churches, chicken. No, there was to begin a week, right?
The main congregation.
You have your main narrative,
Uh-huh.
right? You have your passage for the week,
Okay.
right? And you can, to validate that you went for that week, right? You can go Saturday at 5.
Okay.
I don't know why Saturday is the reset. Because you can go Saturday night, and that counts for Sunday whatever.
Really?
Yes. So then you can go Sunday, or then there's church on Sunday, and most churches, there's the hour.
Well, it was probably Saturday because everybody worked in the oil field and they couldn't get Sundays off. It runs 24/7.
Yeah, but it's you can go at 5.
Yeah.
But there's still Saturday masses in the morning, but that's from
The week
last Sunday.
prior. Okay.
Yeah, that's from last Sunday.
Okay.
So technically, you could knock out 2 weeks of mass if you go Saturday morning, Saturday evening.
Wouldn't you just want to go because?
Yes, that's the concept.
The goal.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
But with this religion, and in this area, or in the area that I was raised in, that's the idea. Let's knock out 2 weeks in one day. Because they're just trying to, and the priest was always like, there's people that are here, and it's like they're punching in a card.
So why go?
Exactly. That was his point, because it's like, why are you showing up and filling up space, and you don't even want to be here?
But I don't know, as the leader of a church, I don't think you should be complaining about people attending.
Yes, because of how small the church was originally, because in 2013, that town got flooded. So
Gregory or Ingleside?
Gregory.
Okay.
So the church itself. Do you remember driving by it?
No.
Okay. Well, on the main strip, do you remember the big block building with the stained glass windows?
Yes.
Okay, so that is the uh, community hall, whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
church gathering center.
Mm-hmm.
That was the original church gathering center, whatever. And the church was back further back. But that was on lower ground, so it flooded.
Yeah.
And it had carpet, and the pews were already older, so
Oh.
they just went
Was
ahead.
it like wood? It would split?
Yeah, it was
Oh.
wood, and so they went ahead and just said, insurance, pay for it.
Yeah.
Because the Catholic Church has tons of insurance on everything, so they're constantly trying to do fundraisers and pay for more stuff. I hit my drink.
Oh, okay. Well, Lydia's in the bookshelf.
Oh. Cute. She's a library cat.
Yeah, she would be.
That's gonna be so funny seeing her head little pop up behind
Yeah.
the books.
I hope she doesn't knock them all over.
Nah, she'll be
She
fine.
would.
She'll be fine.
She would push
She's
him.
nimble. Nimbly bimbly.
I accidentally locked her in the closet this morning.
It's okay.
I felt so bad because I kept seeing the light.
She always has a perfectly fine time in the closet because she'll find something
She
to
loves
lay
being
on.
at the very top.
She'll
of it.
either lay on her clothes or in some crochet
Yeah.
and take a nap.
Yeah.
For hours. So
I
she's
heard
fine.
her meowing, and I was like, "Where
Aw.
are you, little girl?" And I kept looking for like everywhere, and I couldn't find her.
And then you saw the
And I saw the light on. We have
So-
motion sensor lights in our closet. But back to your Catholicism. At any point, did you feel like you were too far gone, like you were too old to learn?
So here's the thing. They read passages kinda in an order,
Okay.
but it also kind of skips around.
Okay.
But what doesn't help is when you don't go to church every week,
Yeah, and you kind of like skip those portions.
you skip portions, and then also it's not full. They're not completely reading the Bible.
Yeah.
It's just sections that
It's cherry picked sections.
that are meant for like this week.
Okay.
And then what it is this section, and they're already picked out for the entire year.
Really?
You get a book for a quarter.
You too can get one of the books that I've written for 99 cents for an ebook on July 31st to August 7th on Amazon. So go ahead and set that in your calendar, and then you're going to go to Amazon on the 31st of July, and you're going to type in ZOEBELL hyphen KANAPAUX, and you are not going to be disappointed. These ebooks are amazing, and you'll hear more about them later on.
Right? And
Do you mean a quarter, like a quarter of the year, or for like 25
Quarter of the year.
cents? Okay.
a quarter of the year.
I was like, dang,
It's-
they're raking in dough.
So no. They're books that are given out to the church.
Uh-huh.
But it's
Is it predetermined by like the upper Catholics?
who
The cardinal or whatever?
No, like the Pope or
Really?
Cardinal. I don't know, because it's Pope, Cardinal, Bishop, your priest.
So it's chosen
There's not-
by somebody else but besides the priest?
Yeah,
Okay.
because there's bishops for, let's say, 20, 30 priests in an area,
Yeah.
in like a tri-state.
South Texas.
Yeah. A cardinal that a bunch of bishops report to.
Mm-hmm.
And then that cardinal will go to...
See, I know this
Rome.
from season 2 of American Horror Story.
Yeah.
I love season 2 of American Horror Story.
I haven't watched it recently, so I'd have to
That's...
watch it.
I think we have it on DVD.
I think we definitely do.
Yeah.
We definitely did pick it up.
We have Murder House for sure. I
Yes.
think season 2 and maybe season 4.
We definitely have 3, because that's Coven, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely have that one.
Okay, yeah.
We have a bunch of them.
Yeah,
They're
we
all really
do.
good.
Except for this newest season. The fuck ass.
Oh my god, terrible.
Yeah, I didn't. It was hard to follow. And then I get it. I was so for
It's
the
ever
writer's
since
strike.
it's ever since a double feature.
Did you know that I'm writing a book called Double Feature, and I promise you it will not disappoint like that one season of American Horror Story. My version of Double Feature comes out summer 2025, and if you look on the screen right now, there's going to be images of the cover, the hardcover and the softcover, and this story follows individuals who are trapped in a movie theater after an explosion decimates their town. So the only place that's safe for them is the movie theater, and they have to figure out how to survive and how to get back to civilization. So look out for it, summer 2025. I didn't like the second half.
See, if they'd have done full seasons of each,
The first and the second half?
yeah,
Yeah.
they'd have been really good.
They could have been really developed.
They could have filled them out completely, but instead they I get it. It was during COVID, so they kind of did what they had to do, but terrible. Instead, they should have just taken their time and done full seasons.
But even when they take their time, you get stuff like season
Flops.
12.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never finished watching season 11 because we were watching it as it came out, and there were other stuff, like there was other shows coming out, and it was just like the lacklusterest show, so we kind of just dropped it because there was like 8 other shows coming out at the same time. We were like, we can't handle this.
That, and we had like multiple seasons to just like bury and dig through.
Yeah.
And
because I introduced it to you, right?
What?
American Horror Story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't introduce it to me. I just started watching it with you because my parents were always watching it, but I just never watched it with them.
What happened?
Huh?
What just happened?
What do you mean?
When she watches shows, she pauses like every 10 seconds.
Oh my
What just
God.
happened?
Lord,
what happened?
She doesn't ever understand what anything's going on
Wait,
TV.
what did he say?
And then she's always on her phone, so it's like...
on her phone.
It's like, why are you even watching TV?
Turn the TV off.
Yeah. It's like, don't pay attention to it then.
Dude.
Yeah, it's just...
it's
aggravating to watch.
I gave her the dirtiest look one time. She was like, what happened? I was like, watch the damn show.
For real.
And she was like, huh? And she put her phone down. It was like, dude, you've asked 10 times.
See, and that's why we put on subtitles too, so that we can read. We can really understand what's going on.
Well,
it
also,
helps.
Yeah, especially if people have, like, British accents are hard for me to fully understand because, a lot of British accents, they clip off the end of the word, or they clip in the middle. Like, Dota.
Me too.
Yeah. It's like, did he say door there? Like, that's what it sounds like to me, so I have to have the subtitles on. Also, if I'm watching a show where they, like, I fucking hate when they start speaking in a different language. Like, let's just say, like, Italian or High Valyrian from Game of Thrones. There were episodes that just said speaking in High Valyrian.
Yeah.
And now it's fixed. With House of the Dragon coming out, it's fixed. But for a little while, it just said speaking in High Valyrian. Or it'll say, like, speaking in Italian. It's like, this is a big scene. This is the crescendo that you have been working up to. This is the end of it. And they're speaking,
they're speaking a different language, and
it
you're
just
not
says,
even translating it.
Dude, it's like...
So what a letdown.
Yeah, it's
and
like...
lazy writing.
It's not lazy writing, it's lazy subtitling. Because obviously the writing is fine, but it's also just like a subtitle is a completely separate job from it. And I would love to do it, but I can't hear very well, is the thing. So, I think it's a transcriptionist. I'm sorry, I cut you off to talk about American Horror Story.
No, it's totally fine. Our dogs are being ruthless to each other.
Because they're tired.
They are.
And they're mad that we're not tucking them into bed and laying down with them.
Poor babies.
But they should know, go to bed.
Yeah.
No. I tell them, go to bed, they go to bed. When you're around, they don't listen. It's 9?
20.
9:20.
Yeah.
Bro, you guys got your own beds, too. You've got blankies that you can pull out. Pulling out the blankies. But, yeah.
I scooted a bed near me so that Billy could lay down.
And he definitely didn't.
For, like, 2 minutes.
Ugh. I have more questions for you about your Catholicism that I never asked.
Go ahead.
So, we planned to go together, and then I got nervous. Because I wanted to go to the Catholic Church just to see what it was like, because it's always been appealing to me.
Uh-huh.
Like, I've always kind of romanticized it. I don't know a ton about what the Catholic Church believes in. I truly, to this day, I don't know a ton about what, like, a general Christian, just non-denominational, nondescript. I don't know what the beliefs are because it's so different from the two religions that, like, I grew up in. And a lot of Mormons will say that they're Christian, but I don't consider it that. Because I've had a ton of Christian friends. I've had Catholic friends. Not you. The people that know a lot about Catholicism.
Yeah.
I've had Catholic friends. I've had Protestant friends. I've had all of these different types of Christian friends. And I would say, like, oh, do you know blah, blah, blah? And they'd be like, no. What's that? So it's like, okay, I don't quite know what all of the tenets are. And I don't think I have to because I'm not a Christian.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and be like, ugh. But, I don't know a ton about it. Like, what the real beliefs are.
Okay, so Christian Catholics, the main difference that sets us apart from all the other religions, like Baptists and all that.
Were you Roman Catholic?
Um,
Is that different from, like, just general
I
Catholic?
think Roman Catholic is different from Catholic Christian that I was.
Okay.
Um, because mine is the big major one that everyone follows, that you follow Pope Francis,
Okay.
right? Okay. And then everyone else branches off of this.
Okay.
Because this main one, everyone that doesn't follow this is the main reason why. So we believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God.
Okay.
And that he was born by the Virgin Mary. Everyone else doesn't believe in the Virgin Mary.
Hi, it's Zipp here, and I'm fact-checking Cameron. The Virgin Mary is believed by most Christian denominations. It's just that Roman Catholicism focuses more on it than the other religions do. Are you saying, like, Protestants?
And
or...
the Immaculate Conception.
Okay.
That's the main difference from everybody else.
Okay.
Because they don't believe in the Immaculate Conception, that God made Mary just pregnant, like, here you go. Angel comes down, tells Mary, yo, you're pregnant. It's not Joseph's, it's God's. You're chosen. Good luck, you're gonna have this child.
Were Joseph and Mary already married?
They were already married, but they couldn't have a child.
Another fact check here. This is a strictly Catholic belief that Mary and Joseph didn't have more children. On mycatholiclife.com, it says God's plan was that Mary have one son for various reasons. It was especially so because we are all called to become brothers and sisters of Christ through spiritual adoption. Therefore, if Jesus had had blood brothers or sisters, it would have undermined his spiritual brotherhood with them. Okay, perfectly fine. Protestants refer to Mary as virgin. They mean that she was a virgin only until Jesus' birth. They believe that she and Joseph later had children whom Scripture refers to as the brethren of the Lord. The disagreement arises over biblical verses that use the terms brethren, brother, and sister. So this is a very divisive topic, but there's different scriptural evidence to support both opinions.
Mary was 14. Joseph was like 30-something.
Remember earlier when Cameron said he really didn't pay attention in church? It's kind of coming out a little bit in this podcast episode. Another fact check. I can't find any evidence to support the fact that Joseph was in his late 30s. There's some evidence that proves that Mary was 12 to 16. That's what scholars are believing. And that Joseph was in his 20s. Does not make it any better, but just want to put that fact out there. Yikes.
Yeah. And this story follows after the first part of the Bible with, like, Adam and Eve and the creation of earth.
Is it the Old Testament? Do you guys
Yeah.
follow the Old Testament?
It's the Old Testament and then the New Testament.
Okay.
The
Do
New
you
Testament
follow the New Testament as a Catholic?
The New Testament is Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus' story.
And
so
do you follow that?
That's that, yeah.
Okay.
And then...
I've never followed the New Testament.
Now you may be wondering to yourself, Zipp, why didn't you ever follow the New Testament? Or you may not give a fuck. But either way, you really should read my book, The Axe Forgets the True Remembers, to learn more about my deconstruction from Mormonism and my movement toward Judaism. The book itself follows a woman named Angela Belfino as she tries to navigate life as an adult, as an ex-Mormon, and as a victim of child abuse. As an adult, she decides to reconcile with her mother, who was incredibly abusive toward her, and when she does so, she finds out that her mother has been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and has only been given a little bit of time left to live. So now she has to go through the awful emotions that she had before, plus this newfound grief. So this book is also included in that 99-cent sale that I mentioned earlier, so be sure to mark it on your calendar so you can get the ebook for really cheap.
No.
Yeah, so that's the story of Jesus.
Okay.
And his, like, the Immaculate Conception.
Okay.
So the birth of him and Mary's story.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was a whore, first of all.
Mary?
Yes.
Mary Magdalene or Mary the Virgin?
Mary Magdalene, the Virgin Mary.
Zipp again, not the same person, just like I thought. Is Mary Magdalene?
Yes. Same person.
Oh.
Whore.
I thought they were different people.
Whore, Joseph, like, married her.
Oh.
They couldn't get pregnant.
She
And
was
then,
14 and she was forced to be a whore?
It's Bible time, so...
Okay, but still.
Yeah, Bible time, so...
Can you also stop scratching the desk?
Sorry. You die at, like, 30.
Isn't there parts of the Bible where people live to, like, 9:30?
Yeah, that's in the Old Testament.
Okay.
That's, like, Abraham and all those, like...
Right after Adam and Eve, really.
Yeah.
Like, in the grand scheme
all their
of things.
children, and Adam and Eve lived forever. In the Old Testament is where the Ten Commandments are.
Yeah.
And
is that where the Great Flood happens?
Yes.
In the Old Testament?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
well, okay. Go back to what the church, like, when you go to church on Sunday, what is it like? You walk into church, you go to your main congregation.
So, church is an hour.
Okay.
But usually, you show up, like, you can show up, like, 30 minutes before church, right?
The brown nosers. Just kidding, kidding.
No, because that's usually when you can go and do confession.
Oh.
Or,
I forgot confession was a thing.
Right, because you have to confess.
Did you ever confess?
You have to confess so that you can get the body of Christ.
Cameron heard me editing this part and asked for it to actually be the Duel of Fates from Star Wars, so here you go.
You have to confess so that you can get the body of Christ.
Bread.
Right? It's a wafer.
Oh.
That's a little...
Goodness me. I really don't know much about it.
It's a little, like, rice cake.
Okay. So, you tell about what your church experience is like, and I'll tell about mine, because it's drastically different.
That's why I'm like, man, fortune cookies are good, because those
You like the wafers?
Those wafers, when you eat it, it has no flavor. It's like wheat, and, like, bland as hell. And then you go drink the communion wine, and then the communion wine makes your breath smell like pancakes.
Oh.
I don't know why. Communion wine's really good.
And that's why all Catholic kids have a cold sore. I'm just kidding.
Hell no. I only did communion wine the one time that I had to do the sacrament, and that was it. Because you can always skip out on the communion wine.
Really?
As a child, yeah.
Yeah, well,
and
obviously.
then I never went older, and then even when I was going around 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade.
Okay.
Around that time, I always skipped out on it because I'm like, I'm not gonna go put my lips on this cup with everyone else. Ugh.
It's also...
You get in line to go drink on it. All they do is wipe it off with, like, a little cloth.
Is the cloth clean?
It's blessed.
Oh.
And it's supposed to be cleaned every time in between masses. So, and then that's the other thing.
Oh my God, that hurt.
Bless you.
Did you
Bless
see
you.
me?
Yes.
Did you see me gearing up for it for like a
Yeah.
whole minute?
That's alright. Yeah, so there's always, like, I say church is like a 2-hour block,
Okay.
because like I said, you can show up 30 minutes before, but the priest, the whole hour before his hour mass, it's usually, the first mass is,
Like 9, 10.
It's 9 to 10, so then he's usually up at
7.
7 to, oh no, 8 to 9, right?
Do priests live in their churches?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah, because they're married to the church.
Oh.
So you can't take a wife.
Imagine like you walk into the priest and he's like giving a kiss. He's just like kissing the pew.
Church. He's
Yeah.
like, I love this.
I love you, wife.
I love you, church. No, it's a whole ceremony. I actually saw,
Was it Father Patrick?
yeah, I saw Father Patrick get, married to his church.
Oh, that's cool.
And then also, Father Raju get married to his church as well.
Really?
In Gregory, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I've
What
seen this twice.
happens in the case where your church gets flooded? Do you get married to a new church? Do you divorce the first church?
So, no. What happened was we set up the parish hall. That's what it's called. And they would do, like, bingo and... Yeah, there is a bingo board there. There's a bingo board, and then there was
A cross.
there was, yeah. And then there was behind this bingo board wall, right? There was the restrooms, and then a concession stand.
No fucking way.
Yeah, because in the concession stand, then there was a full, like, cafeteria, stovetops, and prep table, and all kinds of stuff.
Don't they already make money from, like, the donation tin? Is there, like, a donation?
Yeah, but it's not, like, a lot of money. So,
Were you an altar boy?
yes.
Did you swing around the little thing?
Yeah, actually.
No fucking way!
Yeah,
You
on
never
a-
told me?
Yeah, so on a walk, I did swing the
You
little-
never
the
fucking
little
told me this!
Well, I never brought it up. We've never talked about my religion.
Why?
This is the first time we've ever talked about my religion.
I have asked you multiple times, and then you're like, oh, it wasn't really that, like, crazy or anything.
It wasn't.
You're just like, oh, it was regular.
Dude, it's lame as shit.
It's not lame to me.
Fuck yeah, it's lame. It was lame to me. I fucking hated it.
I have asked you so many times.
Okay, but let me
Okay.
keep explaining, okay?
Okay.
Because it keeps just, like, going and going and going and going, okay?
I'm
so hold on.
sorry.
Let me get back to
1 hour confession, 1 hour
yes.
church.
So you can go an hour before church, go confess your sins. That way, whenever church starts, you can go get the body of Christ. Do not stop me. What?
I have a question about
Okay.
confession.
Okay, yeah.
If you don't confess for a few weeks, does the priest, like, tap you on the shoulder?
No.
Be like, hey, buddy.
No.
Okay.
No. So the whole point of confession is it's a prompt. There's
Really?
a prompt, right?
No fucking way.
You have to know this prompt.
Oh, they don't
You
just, like...
you memorize this prompt. You can, when you go into confession, it's taped on there if you don't know it, like, by heart, but you're supposed to know it by heart, right?
Okay.
And you're tested on it too whenever you're getting confirmed, yeah.
Okay.
Because there's baptism when you're unwilling and
A baby.
and you can't consent, right?
Okay.
You just get dunked, right?
And that's to
by
save
your
you from...
by your godfather.
Okay. Who dumped you?
Victor and Mark.
Oh, okay.
Mark and Victor are my baptismal godfathers.
Okay.
And then you do...
That's his uncle's, by the way.
Yes. And then you do confession,
Okay.
right? And that's in, like, 2nd grade.
Okay.
And that you pick another godfather.
Did you pick a new one?
I picked Victor.
Okay.
So he's my double godfather at this point.
Okay.
And because Victor's always doing...
He's always, like, really involved
always
in the
doing the church stuff.
Yeah.
And my mom's always pushing towards it. And Mark hardly ever went to church. He went even less than us at that point.
Really?
Yeah, at that point. Now he goes a lot more.
Yeah.
But a lot's changed since then.
There was a lot going on with his life then.
Yeah.
We'll not get
Well,
into it.
he had a lot of things going
Yeah.
on. So an hour in the morning is not what he needs to go do.
Yeah.
Which, to each their own.
For some people, it can be really helpful, but for others, it can be a hindrance because you're confessing. I could see how you would have to confess all of the time.
Well, as a single father, he has a lot more duties than to go to church in the morning. It's, hey, I gotta go do other stuff.
Of course, and I understand that a lot.
Yeah, because he is single father for a bit,
while, yeah.
And then Kim came along.
Yeah.
But I don't even remember when. They've been together for a really long time.
I think they've been together for 16 years. I think they just had their 16-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Which, great. That's great for them.
Yeah, lovely. But they've always been a great couple.
So you picked Victor in your 2nd grade?
Yeah, so I picked Victor for confirmation.
Okay.
And they're supposed to, like, guide you through and, like, help you, like, memorize your prompt. Victor never had time for that, so...
Okay.
You have to attend classes with your padrino.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's your godfather?
Your godfather.
Okay.
And their class is about God and yada 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 and whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like an hour long on like a Saturday or something like that.
Okay.
Or like on a Wednesday night.
Okay.
But you usually have Sunday school.
Yeah.
The last, like I said, you leave the last 15 minutes and then it lasts for another hour.
Okay.
And that's in that next hour block where other people go confess. You're in the class doing class.
What about the adults? Do the adults do class as well, or is it just the children doing Sunday school?
It's children up into high school.
Okay.
So
do the adults have their own class?
So it's different. It's like staggered.
Okay.
So when I got older, then I was going like on Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday.
Okay,
it wasn't ever like Monday or Friday.
So everyone...
But you could always skip out on class if you had other school stuff.
What I'm asking is, as an adult, when the children went to Sunday school, did the adults have their own version or their own group?
No, you just go to your hour-long mass, and then your kids go to school.
And then you go pick them up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Or, if you want, you go drop them off, and then you go to church while they're in school.
And then they come back to mass.
And then you just pick them up and go.
Okay.
Because at that point, your godfather could take the kid to church. That's the whole point of the godfather is like a second. Like, hey, if you can't make it to church because you're sick, I'm going to go pick you up and we're going to go to church.
Okay.
So Victor never did that because I lived in a completely different town and he
Yeah.
barely woke up on time to go do the band.
Yeah.
But...
So, during the hour long where you're in mass, did you guys, like, sing hymns at any point?
Yes. So, there's an opening song by the band. That, well, you sing along if you know the words.
Okay.
Right? Any song you just sing along, right?
The fucking Tia in the back.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah. You can usually just hear the band, though, because they play it over the full speaker.
They play it over the bingo. And this was when they were playing for real in the parish hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was like a side band set up.
Okay. Was it what instruments were played in the band?
So Victor played his guitar.
Okay.
But he also knows how to play bass, so he was playing bass when prior to the church flooding, there was a lot more people in the band.
Mm-hmm.
However, the older Victor got, the more he wanted to take over. Slash, the other people also were getting older, and their kids they started having more kids, and Victor just never had any kids at the time.
Yeah.
So, it just made sense for him to... It just made more sense for him to take leadership, so he started playing lead guitar.
Okay.
And then...
Were there drums?
Sometimes. Joe Daniel usually did...
this accordion? Was there an accordion?
No, there was never an accordion.
Okay, I got kind of confused because he was in a band and then he was in the church band.
Right,
so...
the church band was just usually like guitar, lead guitar. If there was a piano player...
Did they have an organist?
No, there wasn't. We didn't have an organ in the church.
What?
Not in our churches, no.
Oh, well, an organ is a really expensive instrument.
Yes. And it usually takes up a lot of, like, height.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any tall churches.
Oh.
So, none of the churches in Gregory or Portland or Ingleside were tall enough for an organ. However, there is one in Corpus at the main Bishop's Church. His has an organ in it. And it's a second floor organ. And then it goes up 3 floors.
That's
and then
so cool.
There's 2 sub-basements. I was in one of the sub-basements. So this is how I know, because
that's so cool.
That's where we did our makeup communion or confirmation.
Okay.
Confirmation is when you're seal of approval, you're kissing the bishop's ring, you're blessed.
You kissed the bishop's ring?
No.
Okay.
Our bishop didn't like that.
Oh, but is that like a regular...
It's not regular for a bishop to deny you to kiss his ring, because it's kind of like a blessing. So he doesn't want to just be passing them out. And then also, I know he was kind of like not like a germaphobe, but he was kind of like, he was from Poland.
Oh.
So he was a lot clean, like real clean and like real stern.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
Kind of real militant. So, like, don't go near him, don't.
When I say I know exactly what you mean, it's because I've got a lot of, like, Eastern European, Polish, and Western Russian family. So...
It's like, if you approach him, like...
Keep your distance
like,
a little bit.
tell him, like, how you know him.
Yeah.
And it's like, he knows he's the bishop, however... And dressed like the bishop, because that's how he goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And you would see him...
Really? Like at
anywhere.
HEB?
Yeah. Well, not at HEB, but, like, at, like... You can see him at the mall, or you can see him at... Yeah, because...
What was he doing at the mall?
Well, he wasn't, like, dressed in, like, the full, like...
Bishop's robes?
Like, bishop robes, but you could see him in, like, the chip collar.
Oh,
And
really?
then, like... Or usually he had, like, some people with him.
If I was a priest, I would wear the fuck out of that collar.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see me without it.
Without the chip.
Dude. I for real thought that it was, like, part of the shirt. Well, I didn't know you could take it out.
See, here's the thing. If you want to become a priest, you start that in 2nd grade.
Really?
Because at communion, that's when you can start serving the altar.
What happens if you want to be a priest after 2nd grade?
Well, you can join at any point to be an altar server. Okay. However, you have to start making up, like, things. Because as an altar server, there's... classes afterwards.
Okay.
That way you can, like, kind of rank up and, like, learn to do more things on the altar. Mm-hmm. So, like, low level, you're carrying the cross, and you're gonna go just pick it up, go put it in or you're gonna walk everyone into church, go set it in the post, everyone's gonna bow, you're gonna bow, and then you get up. Once you get up, then everyone else gets up, and then you go sit down. And
so they were memorizing what the back of your head looked like if you were doing that.
Yeah. And then, and you have a garb. You know, altar server garb.
Really?
The robe, and then the white cloth over top. And then when you rank up, you get a red one, a red like cloak, and then like you get your own rosary, and it's like a nice big olive.
You know, I
olive
had
wood
a rosary for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. My rapist gave it to me.
That's gross.
Yeah, I know. But I still like the aesthetic of it. I'm kind of goth. Well, I just kept it. And I used to remind myself, like, there have been worse times. You've been through worse times. Can I tell you about what church was like for me?
I mean, you can start.
What do you mean I can start?
I mean,
Eating
I still have a lot more juiciness.
Okay, then say your juiciness.
I have.
You're over here eating your gummy worms.
I can keep talking.
Go ahead. Stop eating your gummy worms.
I can just steal this podcast.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you can rank up, right? In this.
Yeah.
And the more you learn, like I said, you have to learn the whole setup of mass, right? So
you learn like this piece goes here, this piece goes
here.
here.
You know, like you go set down your cross.
Yeah, I definitely know.
And then right before right before the end of church, you're gonna go pick it up, and then you're gonna lead everyone out, and everyone bows, and then you start the song and go.
When you level up,
yes,
there's a replacement ready, or do you have to do it?
There's constant. So servers, there's always got to be one.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
You only need one.
Yeah.
And they can do the entire mass with.
What if they're sick?
No.
There's
always going to be one person.
Okay.
Because an adult can always be a server.
Oh, okay.
You need one altar server, and then your priest, and then there's usually a
deacon.
A deacon.
I was going to say because Stan Smith wanted to be deacon so bad.
A deacon. And there's usually going to be a deacon. The deacons usually... Oh, and then...
Are they elected by the congregation?
Deacons are... They're like an altar server at like the highest rank. Mm-hmm. But you have to kind of also take the path of being a priest. But with being a deacon... I was going to say,
do you have to be a deacon to become a priest?
No. Here's the thing.
Because a deacon can be married.
Yes.
I know that because of the episode of American Dad.
Yeah. A deacon can be married. But they're like the second in command if the priest isn't there. If the priest isn't there, if he's sick and another priest can't come from another church, mm-hmm. because usually churches have like a priest or two, mm-hmm. because there's usually like a higher one and then the other one's learning. So then they're both running the church, mm-hmm. and they're doing the finances, the repairs. You have to do like fundraisers for like Father Patrick. Uh-huh. We had to do a fundraiser to get the roof repaired.
I have to pause because I have to tell you about something that's confidential.
Go ahead, pause.
As I signed an NDA. Really good, right?
They were really good.
Sorry, we both signed NDAs, so we can't talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could definitely talk about it to Cameron.
Yeah.
Because who's he gonna tell?
Yeah, exactly. We're only gonna tell each other.
Yeah.
And like in our other sleep.
What do you mean other sleep?
Like in our sleep. We talk in our sleep. We both talk in our sleeps.
Really?
Yeah. We both do, so.
I have very vivid dreams, so I don't even know what I say.
Well, see, when you talk in your sleep, it's just random. It's garbly-gook. It's nothing.
Garbly-gook?
I'm like, what did you say? And then you repeat it, and it's the exact same, just blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, cool.
Well, here's the thing. English isn't my first language.
I know. But it's not Spanish either.
It's not Spanish?
No. Because I would pick up if it was Spanish.
What about Hebrew?
No.
Not Hebrew?
No. Like I said, it just doesn't sound like anything.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, okay, well, I love you. Go back to sleep. And you're like, okay, I love you. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, well, at least she's semi-conscious. I'm like, she's got to be sleeping well. I hope I get some good sleep like that. I can only hope.
Never. When I sleep good. But that's me getting to sleep. So, back to your finances. That's what kicked it off. Was it the finances?
Yeah, so priests and deacons run like the finance of the church. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You had to fundraise to get the roof fixed.
they had to raise to get the roof fixed after Hurricane Harvey because the church was like, "Oh, we're taking forever." And Father Patrick was like, "Well, we can just pay it straight up and then they can refund us. And then when we get the refund, then we can put it into the
church savings.
not into the church savings. They were going to redo the pavement and then their parish hall. What?
The pavement
Uh-huh.
needed it bad.
Yeah.
Needed it bad. It was so awful.
It was rough. They did end up doing it.
I know they ended up doing it, but when we moved to Ingleside, my mom wanted to, like, go to the churches, so she was driving around to see if she could find a Mormon church. Because, like, sometimes they're not listed.
Yeah.
Because, like, there are
Or like
times...
the Masonic lodges as well.
There are times, not frequently, but Mormons will receive, like, hate mail, people will egg their church, stuff like that. So it's definitely not the worst that can be done in terms of hate crimes, which is not funny. I laughed. That's not funny. But it's still, you don't always want to have it there. And that's why they're changing their name. I think out of, let's just pretend with good faith, you know, that they're changing their name for a good reason.
Yeah.
And not for reasons like certain people getting arrested for cults and touching little girls.
Yeah.
So
Anyways, there's also verses, and there has to be a reader.
Okay.
And there's usually 3, because there's 3 verses. Right? So you come in, you
Do you have to
sing...
take a reading test first? Before you can be a...
Yes.
Okay.
You gotta prove that you can read to be an altar reader.
I just know there's a few people that went to that church that were
my
illiterate.
God.
They couldn't
Yes.
read. I'm not even joking about it. They couldn't
Yeah.
read.
And they still read, and... Woof.
I can read. And I'm very thankful I can read. We were just talking about this, that they're no longer teaching kids phonics. They're teaching kids how to recognize words instead of teaching them how to read properly. Like
They're
how
just
we learned.
recognizing the first letter and the last letter, and they're like, "Oh, I think it's this word."
Well, like, that's
That's
how
how
I
it's taught. That's how it's
I
taught
was
to them now.
with, like, big words that you didn't know, where you have to, like, sound it out, but you can't sound it out because you're doing state testing. You know, and state testing's number 1. So you would look at the first and the last letter, and you'd be like, okay, this is maybe this word. I've seen this word before, or whatever. But you don't learn your basic reading fundamentals like that. It's a
But
shame.
also, it starts the house.
It does start at the house.
Are you okay?
Yeah, it was really hard.
It helps for the parent to help read
Mm-hmm.
from when the child's
You're supposed to read with your kid every night.
barely sitting up. Read to them.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well.
You're supposed to read with your child, and that's why they send home those forms where it's like, sign off every day if you read with your kid for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And there are parents on TikTok and on Twitter,
Mine.
oh yeah, who get pissed off about it.
Mine didn't read with me.
Really?
They were just like, "Did you read?" Yeah. Okay.
And you
But-
definitely didn't.
Well, I was always reading in class. Because
It's
I was...
not the same, though.
Well, it is.
No,
Because,
it's not.
here's the thing. They would give us our work, and then because we only had, up until 3rd grade,
I really like the red ones.
1st and 2nd grade, we had one teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would give us our work, and then, and it was like hour and a half blocks, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We would do the information, then your work,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had your free time.
Okay.
And I would just read
I would
whatever
too.
from the library.
When
So I would read like 3-4 of these the mouse books.
I
Yeah.
was just about to
I
ask
love
if you read
those.
those books.
I love those.
The
I read
Geronimo Stilton
yes,
books?
yes. I loved every single one of those.
That's crazy because I was legitimately gonna ask, like, I was gonna say, like, what was your favorite to read? Because mine were the Geronimo Stilton books.
I went through all of them.
I loved them.
And the AR points were always good on them, too, because they were like 2.5 points.
I would move schools and still win the AR.
Dang.
Yes, dude. Well, because...
Bro, it was the funniest thing ever.
I had to cut because I said someone's name, and I genuinely, when I bring this up, I don't want to bring them hurt, right? Because they were a child when this happened. They were younger than I was. Oh my goodness, Billy. I was hit in the head with a hammer when I was in kindergarten. And my skull was fractured. There were pieces that were, like, just stapled in. And
Good as new.
I wasn't allowed to, like, play, especially in Southern California. It can get pretty dusty and windy. So I wasn't allowed to play, so I was just sitting there reading. And I had to teach myself, because I was in ESL, so I had to teach myself, like, how to read in a language that I didn't fully understand. So I would just sit there and read and read and read and read and read. And then I finally got it.
Well, see, I was in GT,
Yeah.
and that's what a lot of my downtime was.
It was reading.
Well, it was reading because I had more AR points than anyone else.
Yeah.
Or I had a higher goal.
Oh.
And then, yeah, GT kids started AR points earlier.
Oh.
Like a year or two earlier.
Dang.
And then everyone else started following after us. And then we might have been like test trials.
I desperately want to make, like, an adult AR, and I've told this to your dad.
It'd be cool.
I
just
think it's...
just for bragging rights. Kind of like what was that? Cool Math? Not what was the math one? Math QT or
I never did it.
Texas Math.
I never did that because I came in
Right.
middle school.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, there was this thing that was like all the schools in Texas.
Really?
And you like collected points for doing math questions, but it reported it to your teacher anyways. And you had to... Mr. Wooten did it.
Really?
Yeah, because it was the stupid little character points that you got, and then you could, like, customize your character with the points from the math questions.
I don't remember doing that, but I've also tried to, like, block out a lot of that.
Good point.
Not his class. He was a great teacher. I needed a lot of extra help in math, even though...
You know what? It might have been for GT math, and you weren't...
I had already done pre-algebra.
Right.
And so I did pre-algebra again when I moved to Texas.
Uh-huh.
And then algebra hit me like a brick. And so, like, the first year that we had him, because we had him 7th grade and 8th grade, the first year that we had him was, like, pretty smooth sailing. And then I started failing. I started failing bad. It was so hard.
Can we talk about how we were talking about church? And we were talking about math. Long-winded podcast.
So, did you have church shoes? Because you had big feet and you mentioned this. Did you have church shoes?
Not like dress shoes.
Really?
Because I didn't ever have dress shoes until I was in choir.
Oh.
Because my feet were always constantly growing, so I didn't ever have like a...
They were like, fuck you and your
shoes.
shoes.
But I did have like... At one point I had boots to wear.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't wear boots all the time, and then when we were going to church, then I was doing altar serving, so I was like, you know what, tennis shoes, whatever. Because the gown goes all the way down to your feet.
Oh, okay.
So it really doesn't matter. You're only going to see the bottoms of your shoes.
Ah.
So, yeah.
Did you have to confess for touching yourself?
No.
Jerking your pick?
I mean, you're supposed to, but I'm not going to confess. Because confession...
I never leave the confession booth, man.
Confession's... Dude. Confession's supposed to... So confession... When you do confession, you're supposed to be sorry for your sin, and...
And you weren't sorry.
I'm not sorry. Fuck you. It's my pickle. I'm touching it. Don't tell me Jesus... didn't touch his pickle. He's Jewish.
He touched it a lot.
He touched it fine.
He got it.
He's
searched.
totally fine with it. They
He
were
got
like...
the tip cut off a little bit.
Yeah. He wasn't shamed. He wasn't shamed for touching his pickle. God, no way.
I think about, like...
And, no, I didn't. I hardly ever went to confession. I probably went 2 or 3 times.
Really?
And then I would always say that I went to confession, but I didn't ever go. Because I'm not sorry. Because you're supposed to go in and tell all your sins and be like, well, I said mean things to my sister, and I didn't do my homework, and I cheated on a test, and...
Meanwhile, the adults are like, I killed somebody.
Yeah.
I hit an old lady with my car last night and I didn't stop.
I cheated on my husband.
Ooh.
Multiple times.
With multiple different people, and I caught HPV.
Dude.
Yikes.
I don't know. But no, I wasn't going to fucking confession.
Really?
No.
But that would be something that you're supposed to confess about?
Here's the thing. You go to confession if you miss church. That's the whole thing. Otherwise, you can just go to church, and every time you get the body of Christ, you're clear of sin. That's the whole point of church.
Like,
that's why you go to...
It's been 6 months since I've confessed.
Since I've confessed, right.
No, it's been about 6 months since my last book came out. Behind Open Eyes, an international smasher, selling copies in India, Australia, the UK, Brazil. That's just off the top of my head. There's more countries. I can't quite remember them. But what I do remember is what this book is about. It follows the investigative author Charlotte Bardot after she receives a mysterious letter in the mail. The letter is from a local celebrity, somebody who gets a little bit of local fame and lets it go to their head. She receives this letter, and it describes a lot of heinous crimes that this man had done to various children that were in his care. See, he was a teacher, and he admitted to getting away with all of these different actions. But why is he a local celebrity, and why is this local celebrity reaching out to an author to tell this story? Well, simply because this man was found nearly dead in a ditch a few years prior, and now with one person in jail for that crime and another who can't leave her house, Charlotte Bardot has to figure out what exactly is going on in the small town of San Antonio. Absolutely not a small town, but, you know, it's like a small town mystery crime cover-up book, and I love it. I love the way that it's written. I love all of the different mixed media that's input in it. It has letters, it has emails, it has various news articles, and I know that you'll love it just as much as I do. Now, that book is already out on shelves, and it is also included in that 99-cent sale. So, you know the drill by now. July 31st, go get it. Go get the ebook for 99 cents.
Because that's like how long you've been in church, and then you missed. So that's why you're supposed to go confess.
Okay.
But I wasn't missing because I was doing the altar serving.
Okay.
So when you're altar serving, I just said about the cross, but there's also the incense on special occasions. So
what are special occasions?
Special occasions, like I said, the year's broken into quarters, and they already have all the things picked out. It's in a book. You get a fresh new one every quarter for each season, right? It's already picked out. That's what you're going to read. And it says week whatever. Week 1. Week, and then it goes all the way to 36. I don't know.
36 is half the year.
Okay, then they're half year books. So it goes to week 36, and then it has...
Well, it's about half the year.
Okay. Well, it has hymnal 1, hymnal 2, the main thing that the priest is going to talk about, last hymnal, and then priest talks about what we got going on. Yo, we got barbecue Saturday. Show up, $15 a plate.
That's so Texas.
Knights of Columbus. They're gonna have fish fry on Friday.
The Knights of Columbus, they're associated with the Catholic Church?
They're associated with the Catholic Church.
I didn't know that. I thought they were separate.
They are the guards for the Pope. They are the first line of defense.
Really?
If they are the descendants of the Crusaders.
Do you have to prove lineage?
No.
Oh.
You can join the Knights of Columbus.
Mm.
But, here's the funny thing. Your parish has to be approved for a Knights of Columbus.
Okay.
And the Gregory one was started in, like, the 40s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Victor was the last Grand Knight because they didn't pay their dues.
Oh, no.
They got disbanded.
I didn't know that's
by the
why.
church. So there's no Knights of Columbus there in Gregory.
I didn't know that was why.
Yeah.
I just thought there wasn't interest in it anymore.
They didn't... Well, that was the whole thing. Because all the Knights members are supposed to be paying their dues. But during 2008, nobody has money.
That makes sense.
So they got disbanded in, like, 2013, 2014.
Dang.
Yeah. Before Harambe died.
Mm.
They got disbanded. Because nobody was paying their dues.
So no more barbecues. No one did barbecues.
Yeah.
I bet the price of barbacoa was through the roof in the 2008.
Everything was going up in price.
Yeah.
And nobody could do fundraisers.
Hold on. I had filmed this yesterday and I forgot to mention. So I mentioned briefly that I was in the ESL class. Cameron and I have very strong Southern accents, or Texas accents.
That's the other thing. I also have a tongue tie.
We both have tongue ties.
Yeah.
So we both have tongue ties. We both have everything. We skip the end of our words. We're not going to be... Cameron talks all day for work. I am selective mute. I'm selectively mute. I will just look at Cameron and nod half the time.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes hard for me to keep talking for so long. And it's hard for Cameron as well. So that's why we sound the way that we sound. Get over it or don't.
Yeah, so you learn... then also there's an altar boy that'll carry in the like main big Bible that everyone reads out of.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing in Judaism.
That's usually like the head altar boy is going to carry that. / the deacon will do it if that. Yeah, so you learn like a bunch of different things. So, like I said, so during the quarter, there's different what?
Speak up, please.
Oh, sorry. So during the quarter, there's special like masses to celebrate whatever holiday there is.
Mm-hmm.
Like
All Saints Day? Is that what holiday you celebrate?
no,
Oh.
that is not, because that's got to do with like
Is that Halloween?
yeah,
Oh.
that's got to do with like witches and stuff like that. Catholic Church is not for that.
What about Brujeria?
No, not
really?
about that.
Is that called like Santeria? Where it's Catholicism with Brujeria?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
That's not a. I don't know.
That's not a you question.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm not even going to talk on that. And you know I talk out my ass.
Yeah.
No, so you learn like different things as an altar boy after church, right? There's like classes, and you like.
Is that after like all 3 of the masses that happen?
Yeah, actually, you got to come back at like 2
Oh, okay.
and come do this. But you can usually do it like after your class, because usually the later classes are for the the later church. So you'll go to church from like 10 to 11, and then you'll go to your, it's called CCD, Catholic Church something.
I don't know why we let Cameron talk about the Catholic Church this time. The Confraternity of Christian Doctrine is now commonly referred to by its abbreviation, CCD, or simply as Catechism, and provides religious education to Catholic children attending secular schools.
Bullshit. I don't know.
The grape ones are really hard.
Yes, dude. They're crunchy.
Yeah.
They're Captain Crunch.
Dude, I've been wanting Captain Crunch so bad.
Cutting up my gums.
That's why I saw a Family Guy gag about it. I was
Where he's all bleeding out the mouth.
Yeah, he gets like pulled over and he's like, I had a bunch of Captain Crunch this morning. The top part of my mouth is shredded.
Low key, it's good though.
I've always loved Captain Crunch.
But yeah, you you learn how to. Oh, you're also the one that brings up the communion wine.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna wash the priest's hands before he blesses the wine and the holy sacrament.
Do you
The
pour the
holy.
wine?
Uh, yes. Oh, well, you're the person that like holds the chalice.
While the priest pours it? Who pours the wine? This is an important question.
Well, the priest pours the wine into the two chalices with a little bit of the holy water,
Okay.
and you bring up the holy water to the priest, right?
Mhm.
He's just like, "This is your sacrament, holy
Did
water."
he make holy water with Gregory water?
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's just water, and then you bless it.
I'm saying
Yeah.
Gregory water is nasty.
Woof.
It's gross. You too may be in a small town where the water is fucking filthy. But you know where the water is always nice? In my book, Crash, written by Zoe Bell-Kanapaux, spelled the same way as before. Crash follows the 4 survivors of a plane crash who are stranded on a deserted island. Now, the island's beautiful. The water's clear. The only trash that can be seen are from the plane, victims, and from the suitcases that have exploded on impact. And that is one of the things that all of the survivors have to do. They have to go through all the suitcases to see if maybe there's any food before they starve to death. Now, this is the first book in the Crash series. The second book is a book I mentioned earlier, Double Feature. However, they can be read as standalones if you're interested. Double Feature does have different characters, and they all meet together in the third book. It's not a spoiler. Not a spoiler. So, anyway, this is included in the 99-cent sale, so go get it. This is my best-selling book. Everybody loves Crash, and I'm not just saying that because it's my own book, but everybody loves Crash. Is that a garlic with a growing part in it?
Yeah, it's growing.
Just like my fan base, growing every day. So if you're reading, or if you're listening to this podcast, and you like my voice, and you like me, and you like Cameron, then you would love my books. So check them out on Amazon. There's like random ass sediment in it.
Nah, they probably had like a purified thing. It didn't smell like like Gregory water. You know how like Gregory
South
water,
Texas water,
Gregory water
stinks.
and Portland water smells like.
Yeah.
You know how everyone just has that smell to them because of the water.
The water, it smells like
The Ingleside water is different, so
Yeah.
that's why I never smell like everybody else.
it's got like a scent to it.
It's like a sediment.
Yeah, it smells like caliche.
It
That's what it
caliche.
smells like.
Everyone smells like caliche.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't. Smell
And the
like
water, it's hard.
It's hard.
It's such hard water. But there's no like lime scale. Like you can
Yeah.
like our water up here has a lot of lime in it, so we get a lot of lime scale.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that yellow stuff that starts to creep up.
Yeah.
And that's why our like
Well, with the power of OxyClean.
well, that's why it like rusts a little bit more, and we have to
Yeah.
like scrub it with the barkeeper's friend, is because of the lime scale.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot softer of water. Like we went down to South Texas after I had been living in Wichita Falls. The water felt like acid on my skin. Like it felt like I was being like cut and like lemon juice was being squirted on it. Like I felt like all of my pores were being like squirted with lemon juice. Like it was painful. I was like, ah. I got in the shower. I was like, ah. And I'm not even being dramatic. That's how it was. And then we came up here and Cameron was like, oh my God.
So this is nice.
I told him. I told him for a long time. I was like, the water here is so hard on your skin. And he was like, nah.
Yeah, well, you know.
You live and you learn.
Yeah. So then you also learn to, like, ring a bell.
Really?
At a certain point in the
What if
blessing.
you fuck it up?
Oh, you can. I mean...
What happens?
The priest will look at you like, dude, that's not the right point. Because you're supposed to know it if you're gonna ring the bell.
Do priests ever, like, throw their hands up? Like, dude, what
No. No, but they'll look at you like, dude. It depends on the priest, too. Because if they're more stern, or if they're not, like, really into having altar boys on their their altar, because a lot of priests are just like, I don't want any altar boys.
Can you be an altar girl?
Yes, but it's not really like a thing.
Oh.
It's kind of like for younger, but there's no like progressing as an altar girl.
That's lame as
well,
fuck.
well, yeah, actually, the only like progression you get to is like reading the verses. But also altar boys can do that whenever they get older, at like 15.
Oh.
Or like, well, when you can read pretty well.
So you were like 26?
I'm
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So anyway,
I fucking got your ass. Ow, ow, ow. My jaw is cramping. Ow. Ow. Ah. Oh, it hurts. It hurts so fucking good.
I'm like Roseanne.
Don't you fucking say that shit to me right now. Don't you fucking say that shit to me right now. You cannot tell me I laugh like Roseanne fucking Bourne.
Boom, got her.
I do not laugh like that. Fuck you. This podcast is done.
No.
Ow. You're a dick. That was meaner than what I said. You know how much I hate Roseanne.
Yeah, so, yeah, you're supposed to get, confirmed as, like, a freshman.
Like, how old? Like 13?
13, yeah. That's around the age group. Like,
But you were like
13,
14 or
14.
15.
Yeah, because I just didn't go that year. So then I went for a makeup year.
Yeah.
That's why I was in Amy and Daniel's class.
And you were like wanting to kiss me during your confirmation classes?
Yeah. I was snapping you while I was in class.
Yes, dude. You'd be like, I'm going to class. I can't talk for an hour. JK.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Snapchat like 15 minutes later.
Because Amy wouldn't be there,
Mm-hmm.
and she was the one about phones.
Mm.
And I would just shoot the shit with Daniel for an hour. Because I could keep a conversation going. And
really?
I can run Daniel way the fuck off the rails and just go on about something else.
You
or
know
let
what? I
someone else
had no
talk about
fucking
it.
clue.
Yeah, so then I would be snapping you while running the show off the rails.
I was so in love with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
What?
you got a crush on me.
Yeah, I did.
I had a major back crush on you too.
Really? I
Yeah.
have no clue.
Well, from like the first couple weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not have a crush on you really
Like-
then.
Not the first couple weeks. I don't know, when we started snapping,
Because I never had my phone.
well, we started snapping, and then I guess like a couple months later, when we started snapping like more consistently.
Up until like 3 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd fall asleep on you.
Yeah.
You'd be like, good night.
Oh, I was losing so much sleep. I was fucking tired.
Oh, I know.
That's when I was drinking monsters after monsters.
Oh my god.
I liked drinking them anyways, so I was like, you know what, perk. I got a reason to be up all this time. Because video games are just like, whatever. They just didn't feel so sensible. However, being up with you is like, okay, I like talking with her.
You know what really hurt my feelings? When I was
When
like...
I would fall asleep on you.
Yeah, but also...
You would snap me and be like, oh, you fell asleep on me, and I'm like, I'm tired. I'm fucking drained.
But when I asked you, because we were like, okay, let's be honest about our feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you, like, when did you start feeling this way? And you were like, yeah, like, probably the first day I met you, you, like, stood up to go turn in a piece of paper, and I saw how fat your ass was. I wanted to fucking cry. I wanted to fucking cry. And then you later on, you were like, I was actually so in love with you because you fell asleep and you just looked like such a sweet angel. And then you woke up and you told the guy next to us to shut the fuck up. I was like, dude, shut the fuck up. Because he was just like nonsensical, like going on and on about whatever the fuck. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Can't you see I'm trying to sleep here?
I loved how just blatant. Just go fuck yourself. I love the attitude. And then you ended up in my view, my seat across from me view.
Yeah. It's like the invisible string theory. We walked past each other every day for years.
Yeah.
Multiple times a day. Because, like, we broke it down because he's like, how have I never seen you before? I was like, there's multiple times where you could have seen me.
Yeah.
Every single day, actually. Multiple times a day we walked past each other. And there were multiple times where I had spoken to you, but you didn't speak back to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, okay. So you had dressed up like Mexican word of the day when it was meme day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had told you, dude, cool outfit. And you were like, you gave me a dirty ass look.
See, here's the thing. I was getting a lot of, like, shit already from Mr. Themey.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, it wasn't until the end of the day that he said that.
Mm-hmm. And then they canceled meme day.
Yeah. That was all on me.
Yeah. But you also, you were taking Spanish, and the assignment was to make a piñata, and
Yeah.
you made the Minecraft pig.
Yeah.
And there were multiple days where I had stopped you, and I was like, no fucking way. That's so cool. Do you like Minecraft like I like Minecraft? And you were like, how do you like Minecraft? And I was like, just like your mom. Like, just like I like your mom. I had said that to you because you looked angry as fuck. So I was like, just like I like your mom.
See, okay, then I don't remember that.
No, because
But
there were multiple days where you were bringing it around, and I was like, dude, because...
See, I was so pissed off at that project, first of all. Like, I loved doing the project, but I was so pissed because my mom was constantly just upset that I was still doing it. And I'm like, it's a massive fucking project.
That's
I'm
like you
doing
being
it
upset at me for not finishing a diamond dot in a day.
I don't care.
I know, I'm just saying it's a lot of work.
Oh.
Because you had to do each little, like, thing individually.
I had to twist. It wasn't like a store piñata where you could just cut a strip and then cut the little fringe.
No.
It was little squares of paper. They were 2 by 2 centimeters. That's the size that she told us to cut them.
Dang.
That way, you could twist it on the end of a pencil.
And glue it in place.
And then glue it, when it was on the end of the pencil, you just put a little dab of glue and then stick it on. Or you would, like, glue a section, or, like, put glue on the whole section, and then just do a bunch of squares.
See, and I would have loved to do a project like that.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
But I was just, every day, I was being, told, about that project.
Uh-huh.
And then also, around that time, was when I had my appendix removed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was earlier than that.
No. I was out of school for a whole week doing my project because I had my appendix removed.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go to school anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was pissed off from having to do football as well. And then the coaches were all pissed about me having my appendix removed. And I couldn't do PT. And it's like, I'm not doing track, so what fucking difference does it make if I can't do weights?
Yeah.
And then, what else? And then I had Miss Reininger fucking shitting on me because of all my ELA projects.
Mm-hmm.
And I had ELA projects on top of my Spanish projects,
Mm-hmm.
on top of my U.S. history projects,
On top of math homework.
on top of my math projects and homework.
Yeah.
Because around that time was also the math science fair.
Dude.
That I had to do with Jake, and Jake wasn't doing his part of the fucking project. So I had to make an entire fucking felt baseball stadium and a board game.
And I
by
still
myself.
beat your ass.
Yeah.
I still beat your ass.
It was by myself.
I got number fucking 1 doing it by myself. I made a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
And then people were like, it'd be cool if you could have made it move. Bitch, I had like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking work.
I was under so much. I was sleeping in the back of Miss Mendez's class all the fucking time.
Really?
Yeah.
She wouldn't let me get away with that.
Well, I was in the back of the class, probably getting the contact high off.
Cameron just loves dropping first and last names and addresses and phone numbers and social security numbers and emails and...
I'm the Bert Kreischer of the podcast.
You love name dropping.
So let's FaceTime someone.
Dude, we gotta... Okay. We have to. And you have to be on the lookout for my next book that's coming out called Rotting Ruby. Rotting Ruby follows a woman named Ruby as she goes on a nightmarish first date with a man named Dennis. And Dennis is into a lot of weird stuff, including cannibalism. So, see how that unfolds in Rotting Ruby. Right now on the screen, you are seeing the hardcover cover artwork and the paperback cover artwork. The paperback cover artwork. And it will be out January or February of 2025. So look out for it. Have to figure out our Mormon video, right? And we gotta figure out giggling with grandpas. Yeah. First of all, I have to call my grandpa and see if he's still alive. 'Cause I haven't heard from Russell in a few months. Since the last time I talked to him. Since the last time I told you that I talked to him. This was filmed like 3 or 4 weeks ago. My grandpa is very much alive. He talked to me on the 4th of July. It's hard to get a hold of him. He's always at the pharmacy.
I mean,
every single time.
Maybe you call the pharmacy and you ask, hey, when Russell's there next time...
Can you tell him to call his granddaughter?
No. Call me and give him the phone. And you know Russ is gonna fucking walk around the store with their phone.
With the long-ass landline.
With their landline. He's gonna be curling the...
I think he goes to an older pharmacy because he's known every pharmacist there for 30 plus years. Like, he was like 20 years old getting prescriptions
filled. Do you think they were making like sodas in the pharmacy?
I think he was eating Anacin, like... Anacin is a painkiller from the 70s. And they bring it up all the time in Family Guy. They're like, oh, does anybody have an Anacin? Dude. Anacin. We gotta figure out giggling with grandpas.
Yeah.
You gotta get your grandpa on the
telly.
On the telly. You gotta broach it to him. I gotta get my grandpa. I was about to say, well, don't you have 2 grandpas? I only have 1 grandpa. You only have 1 grandpa. We could also get your dad on, because technically he's a grandpa.
He's a dog and cat grandpa.
And a baby with angel wings up in heaven. You don't like when I say dead baby.
I don't.
It's okay.
It's so just drop the hat. Just.
Well, I mean...
See? Drop the momentum. Whop. Told you. Anyways, yeah, so back to the Catholic Church. Wonderful.
Would our baby that died, would that baby have gone to heaven in the Catholic Church?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If children aren't born, they just automatically go to heaven.
I gotta ask that about Mormons because it's not clear. There's not a clear-cut answer because I've asked multiple different people and they've all had different answers.
See, CCD was when you could ask the priest.
Okay.
Because he would come in.
It was like a Q&A.
Well, yeah, sometimes. Because if your teacher wasn't there, because the teacher was usually a volunteer parent, or like Amy and Daniel were
Were they your godparents when you got confirmed?
They weren't my godparents.
Oh,
they're Elizabeth's.
Yeah. Okay, that's why I keep getting them in my head that they were
your
godparents.
That's why everyone's like, they're your step godparents, because...
That's not what that would be.
Yeah, no.
That's like me saying... That's me saying my adopted dad.
This is coming from...
I wouldn't say that they're idiots, but, I mean, who would know what that would be? A step godparent would be like... if it would be your uncle's wife. That would be your step godparent. Because... he got married after he was your godparent. So that would be your step godparent, not your siblings' godparents.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's something else.
Ding dongs.
Ding dong. Ding dong ditch. Did you ever ding dong ditch people?
No.
Really?
No, I didn't ever go outside.
I did it on Halloween. I did it on Halloween.
I only went down my street during Halloween, and then I didn't like going Halloween treat or trick-or-treating.
Dude, I had to go trick-or-treat. I had to provide for my family.
No, they always kept like, you gotta go, and I was like, no, I don't want to go. I'm good.
Did you ever dress up for Halloween?
No, I stopped, like, in... I did for, like, school and, like, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. But you're a lame-ass bitch. You hate celebrating holidays.
I do. I don't like holidays.
You don't like your birthday. You don't like holidays. You don't like anything.
I don't like...
I gotta provide. I gotta carry.
I don't like cupcakes.
I fucking love cupcakes.
I'm not a fan of the frosting.
I fucking love frosting.
Cake, I'm like,
I love cake.
I like a centerpiece.
Really?
Oh, the centerpiece, that way I don't have to have, like, the frosting on the side.
I fucking love a corner piece.
If it's buttercream icing, then, oh yeah, give me that corner.
Dude, I want a cake from Walmart. One of those ones with the... I keep bringing it up. The cakes with the balloons.
Yeah.
Where they pipe the balloons on. I want, like, 10 red balloons on there. I yearn for red dye 40. Dude, that's what I just, like, these fucking sweet tarts are so good, the red ones.
Yeah.
The red ones, they're artificially dyed. Also, I'm drinking watermelon, Arizona tea. Definitely red dye 40. Oh, I can check the ingredients. Bitch, I can't see that. How are you supposed to see this?
What?
It's literally, like, golden. Can you see that?
Yeah, if you tilt it down.
Tell me if it has red dye 40 in it. Inquiring minds need to know.
Filtered water. Pear juice is before watermelon juice. Let me just say.
I like pear flavor.
Juice and or apple juice from concentrate. High fructose corn syrup, glucose syrup, mango puree, citrus acid, pineapple juice from concentrate, kiwi juice from concentrate, watermelon juice. Did you hear how many other fruits there were before watermelon?
I like all the fruits.
Fruit and vegetable juice for color. Natural colors. Persogenic acid, vitamin C. Cherry juice from concentrate. There's no red dye 40.
Fuck!
I think they just get the color from the cherry juice.
Dude, that's why it's not hitting so hard. It's hitting very hard.
It's not classic Arizona.
Oh, I think it used to have red dye 40.
Nah, I don't know. Oh yeah, but I got out of altar serving because I was tired of that. Because I was like, well, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go any further in priesthood. We were hardly ever going to church.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I woke up before church and we still had time to get ready to go to church, I'd purposely wait in bed to make sure that we didn't get up in time. That way I could be like, oh, would you look at the time?
As if there weren't like 2 or 3 more masses.
I mean, you can still go the rest of the week, but we weren't going to do that. So, if we weren't going to go to the first one, what's the point? Because it was Victor playing. And then the other ones were...
Other people?
You were going to hear... So...
What the fuck is that?
The old people screeching
instead
of singing.
I've got tales about that for the Mormon church.
Yeah. So, we definitely weren't going to go hear that because my mom would would complain. And you know her, so...
Ugh, you
Yeah.
never hear the end of it.
No, so we definitely did not go to that. Because my dad would not put up with hearing
Fuck no.
that. Yeah. And we would rather just get breakfast than go to church.
How often did
So-
y'all get breakfast?
Oh, quite often.
Really? Like, how many times a week would you say?
Oh, just Sunday. Maybe.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like always like a good breakfast. Sometimes it would be like, oh, we're gonna go get tacos.
Do you know what I miss so much and why I want to become a teacher? I miss those little dumbass pizza pockets.
Oh,
I miss the little fucking breakfast burritos with the whole grain tortilla. Them shits hit.
those were gross.
I loved it.
My grandma was making tacos in the second, third, and fourth grade.
So that you could sell
Every
them.
morning.
Yeah.
No. Every morning for us.
Uh-huh.
And then it was in the third and fourth grade when I was selling them.
Dude, you were slinging them.
I was slinging tacos.
Dude, I would have bought one every fucking day. You'd
$2
have,
a pop,
you'd have
dude.
cut my charge a little
Hell
bit.
yeah. I was bringing 2 tacos for each teacher.
Dang, dude.
So I was making $6 each day.
Wow.
And then at the time, eggs were like $1.
Yeah, eggs were really cheap
They
for
were
a long
super
time.
cheap. And then we were going to the egg factory. Remember where we went and got
The chicken
40
quarters.
pounds of chicken?
Dude, that was a crazy amount of chicken.
That was.
I want to say something about eggs real quick.
Go ahead.
My mom got me an allergy test where they take like 40 different stimuli and they poke you with it. And she found out that I was allergic to eggs and still fed them to me every day. And I didn't find out until I was 20 that I was allergic to eggs. And that's why my stomach hurt so bad when you would make migas. Because you would make them perfectly fine. They were cooked eggs.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, he must not be cooking them right. Like, she would gaslight me. She knew I was allergic to eggs. And she would gaslight me like, oh, well, maybe it's the corn tortilla. Maybe it's the oil. Maybe it's this.
Me.
Maybe it's that. And I was like, well, he would put butter, so it's not the oil. Like,
Yeah.
and I would have you make it different ways, right?
Yeah.
And it was like every fucking time. And then I'd be like, well, I had an omelet at Denny's and my stomach hurts really bad.
Yeah.
And then she'd be like, oh, well, maybe it's the meat that they use. Bitch, I was allergic to eggs the whole fucking time.
Common denominator.
She knew for 16 years and didn't fucking tell me. Did you tell me to shush?
No, I said bitch.
Oh, I only saw the shh part of your lips
sorry.
making... I was, like, looking at your lips
Yeah.
and you said it. I only saw the shh part, so I thought you were saying shh.
Lo siento. my
No, you're
bad.
fine. That was a misread on my part.
So, any other questions about the Catholic faith?
I think I do have a few. What happens if a priest does have an extramarital affair from the church? Do they get disbanded? Do they get removed? Did you ever see that happen?
No. There was never any scandals like that
Dude,
during my church.
I was gonna tell you,
During my churchy duties.
I don't even know if I want to say this out loud. I had this, I can always cut this out later. When I was, like, alone in my bedroom, when I had my own apartment,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I would take out my little vibe and think about different scenarios. Because I don't like porn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. It grosses me out. One of them was me going to confession.
As a Jew.
Yes.
A Jew for Jesus?
No. I don't believe in that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. Something about the story always seemed a little fishy to me. But, yeah, I had that little, like, fantasy, and I'm so embarrassed right now.
We can cut this out in post.
Maybe not, though. I don't know. I always just thought about
Maybe
it.
I'll
Something
see
about... I think it was maybe Charlie Sheen from Scary Movie 3, because he was the priest.
You know what? At 3 hours and 30 minutes, they get a good story. They made it through this far.
So,
Juicy.
so I think it was Scary Movie 3 because I watched those movies entirely too young.
One moment. This is
Okay.
how you prove. Did you listen to the episode?
Uh-uh.
Let me test your knowledge.
So, I had the biggest crush on Charlie Sheen for the longest time. Like, I would religiously watch Two and a Half Men, even though it's the worst show to ever come out, because of Charlie Sheen. And this was before his HIV diagnosis, or public,
Yeah, well, before, like, your access to the internet like that to learn about Charlie Sheen's.
Well, in health class,
Mhm.
they had us do a PowerPoint on each thing, and I jumped up when they said HIV because I wanted the opportunity to talk about Charlie Sheen. I was
took
also-
health class.
I was also 12 years old, so please forgive me. But I did because it was around the time when Charlie Sheen had to make the public announcement. Yes, I have HIV. Yes, I had sex with some people who didn't know I had HIV. I'm gonna have to fact check that, but I know he was sued because of his HIV status.
Yeah, I think there was a group of women that tried suing him or something like
Yeah,
that.
I don't know what the results were, and I will add them when I'm editing, so, whatever. But for the longest time when I was, like, smaller, I was younger, I had the biggest crush on Charlie Sheen. And he played in Scary Movie 3, he was a priest. And I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Something about that was just, I don't know.
You're like, okay, we can do something here.
I think I can make this work.
I can make this work.
I wanted to pop the little like. Oh my god! No! This is so embarrassing.
There's no script.
Why are we talking about this?
I don't know.
My secret. I've never, ever shared that before. I've kept it to myself for 3 years.
For 3 years.
I was 19 thinking about it. And I was so fucking sad. And it was the only thing that would bring me like a little bit of happiness was the idea of
Charlie
corrupting
Sheen.
a priest. No!
Oh.
No!
Charlie Sheen.
I wanted to go to a Catholic church and there would be like a young little priest and I wanted to change his life.
See, you were thinking that I was gonna go to like the monastery, or
Oh, wow.
you wanted to corrupt me.
No, honey.
He said no.
I wanted and never looked at a woman that way. Because he knew he was going to be a priest from the 2nd grade. Like, so even as an adult, he was like, no.
This is my final choice. To marry the church.
He said, I think God will forgive me. This pussy's immaculate.
I think I can do enough Hail Marys for this.
I think I can do enough Hail Marys.
I think I can pray a few rosaries.
You think if I donate enough of my time...
A rosary is like an hour prayer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Really?
Like 30-minute prayer, something like that.
I didn't know that.
It's like 20 prayers.
That's crazy.
Each beads are a prayer.
Wow.
A Hail Mary. And then the big beads are an Our Father.
What's the difference?
Hail Mary, you're praying to Mary.
Uh-huh.
And the Our Father, you're praying to
To God. The big G-O-D.
Well, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Is that one thing?
Pretty much, yeah.
Hmm.
Same shit.
We'll have to talk about the differences in the next podcast. Because to Mormons, it's kind of different.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I come home and you're dressed like a fucking priest, where am I going, first of all?
Pilgrim.
No, you are not dressing like a fucking pilgrim for
Pilgrim
Thanksgiving.
For the Thanksgiving episode.
He desperately wants to invite
I'm John
Mormon
Wayne
mission-
at the first Thanksgiving.
pilgrims. You're not doing that, Cameron. I'm telling you no. But you can, however, dress like a priest.
Okay. I mean,
Maybe that'll
I'll
stop
get a chip.
You'll get a chip.
I'll go get a chip.
Mm-mm. Stop. I don't know if this is gonna be included. I may have to cut it off. You got any other questions? No, I think we're good.
We're good. Exclusive end of the podcast.
This may be on Patreon.
Right.
I don't think I have any other questions about the Catholic Church. Thank you so much for sharing today, Cameron.
Of course.
Anyway, our doggy is falling asleep in Cameron's lap. We've got to go tuck them into bed. So we will be filming the next episode of this podcast tomorrow. And it may end up being another 4-hour podcast. And we may talk about how much I want to fuck a priest. It's not still an active thing, okay? I got married to you and I got rid of all of that. I don't watch porn. I don't cheat. You got a good wife. You got a good partner.
Yep.
Yeehaw. And we'll see you guys later. Don't forget to look at the links in the description of this video. If you're interested in hearing more of my voice, I do have an audiobook that's coming out chapter by chapter. Probably chapter 1 and 2 are out. I don't know. When I'm editing this, maybe chapter 1 will be out.
I lied. It's not out. Not even close to coming out yet.
It's an animated audiobook. It's going to be really cool. The audiobook for Behind Open Eyes may also be out.
I lied again. It's not out. But you can read or listen to the audiobook for Crash, which is one of the links in the description below.
So that may be in the description as well. I can't tell in the future. It's June 20th right now as we're filming this. This may come out July 20th. Who freaking knows? But anyway, see you guys tomorrow.
See y'all.
Or next Wednesday when you're hearing this. Bye-bye.